What's up everyone, it's Scotty with MoneyVest. So I wasn't able to go live yesterday because I was traveling. My flight was literally at the time of market open, but nonetheless, here's the market update, and I'm back here in Dubai. I had a very quick trip to Mumbai due to an emergency, but we are back, and June 12th is going to be the most important day for the markets here this week, because not only do we have the inflation data, we've also got the Federal Reserve speech, Jerome Powell's speech, and the summary of economic projections, as well as the statement coming out from the Federal Reserve as well. So I will be live for both of those events. And as always, if you enjoy this video and market update, make sure that you drop a like, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you're just joining us for the first time. I would really appreciate that, and links to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below. I want to remind everyone that the first week of July, more likely July 8th, after the 4th of July weekend, is going to be the time for our MoneyVest beta launch, and that's going to be coming off at a 51% discount. I've opened up a few more spots here if you're interested in joining and locking in this pricing forever, because I also mentioned this in our community. So this is the message that I sent to everybody, just to have a bit of an understanding and an idea, because we've got a channel dedicated to the MoneyVest software launch. And I mentioned that July 8th, 2024 is the tentative date. We're still trying to figure out all the data sync and the email SES, as well as the data that we're getting from the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ, and making sure that everything is functioning well and is ready for everyone. But that is the tentative date for all the existing members. Investor tier and higher will have access to the platform on that day. Your emails will be whitelisted, all the emails that you used on Patreon. So please make sure the membership is on Patreon is both active and up to date with the correct email. And I'm very excited for this launch, and there's a lot of features and functionality and tools to be added over time. This right here is going to be what's available at the beta launch. So a lot of really interesting tools, such as the MoneyVest metrics, broken down into 5 categories and over 60 metrics, as well as our M score and visualization through charts, financial statements, and again, you can visualize them just like so. If you come over to fundamental analysis, balance sheet, cash flow, you can simply just visualize these for 6, 7, 10, 20 years, whatever the case might be. You can also add other stuff like gross profit, if you want to add operating income, EBITDA, net income. You can also come over here, add free cash flow all the way at the bottom. We can also add, let's say, balance sheet items, let's say cash, or if you want to add total debt, if you come down, we've got long-term debt over here, so you can get a very good, clear idea of how well the company is doing, a more visual representation. And then, of course, MoneyVest Metrics is also going to show you that same exact chart, as well as their CAGR and our M score as well. So this right here is going to be the compounded annual growth rate for whatever years you're looking at. You can use that to calculate that, fair value and intrinsic value using our discounted cash flow and our discounted earnings multiple models as well. As well as that, the future, there's going to be a lot of other features and functionalities and tools added. So institutional data, as well as our very interesting, stock peers comparison charts, again, with visual charting and tables, insider transactions, ownership, portfolio tracking, risk analysis, rebalancing, and of course, a community dashboard. So there's a lot that we're going to be launching over time, over the next 6 months, as we ramp up here in our development efforts. But if you want to get access early on and lock this pricing in forever for whatever features we launch in the future, link's going to be down below. We'd love to have you on board. And let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. I'm happy to help. So this right here was the state of the market. So first things first, Apple here selling off after their WWDC 24 event. They did launch a lot of things, which I'll break down here in just a minute. Tesla selling off over 2%. June 13th, I believe, is also a very important day for Tesla because of the shareholder meeting. Apple here, of course, down almost 2%. Google pushing higher, Amazon pushing higher. Nvidia after the split up over 75 basis points, and Microsoft here up over 95 basis points as well. So this right here is the entire market. So again, a lot of momentum coming in from comm services, consumer cyclical, industrial, consumer defensives, healthcare, energy, real estate, utilities, everything pushing higher, with technology and of course other parts of the market more or less flat and somewhat mixed. Utilities, energy, consumer cyclical, technology all pushing higher, with financial and defensive selling off. In the last 1 week, again, we've got technology, healthcare, communication services all pushing higher, with financial, utilities, and materials selling off in the last 1 week, which has also been the sector that's been selling off. And of course, technology and comm services are the 2 main leaders in the market, thanks to Nvidia and of course Google and Meta as well. Natural gas, oats, and live cattle, feeder cattle, orange juice prices pushing higher, with sugar, cocoa, silver, platinum pulling back. And we got Bitcoin just over 67,000 and Ether just over 3,500 as well. So, a couple things. CrowdStrike shares jumped 7% because they are now being added to the S&P 500. So, huge congratulations to CrowdStrike and CrowdStrike shareholders. Inclusion in the S&P 500. They are going to be replacing Comerica. And there's another company, domain seller GoDaddy, and firm KKR are going to be added as well, which are going to be taking places of Robert Half and Illumina respectively as well. And these changes will go into effect on June 24th. So we are going to see, again, CrowdStrike obviously surging on the back of this inclusion. And that, again, is a big deal for any company, as we already know what's happened with NVIDIA, what's happened with Tesla in the past. And again, CrowdStrike pushing up over 7% on the back of this news. Moving forward, this right here was another report. So a generational opportunity could see NVIDIA become 15% of the S&P 500. So 15% of the S&P 500 is a pretty significant chunk of the entire index. And reading further, you'll notice that the 10-for-1 stock split undertaken by NVIDIA deliver even more momentum for the AI chipmaker. As for the latter, Evercore ISI strategist Julian Emanuel thinks it will eventually. And the history of other marquee tech stock splits have been rally first, then sell off, volatility after the split. Such volatility resets the generational buying opportunity time after time. So what he's specifically saying is that pre-split, the stock rallies. Post-split, it comes down, gives you a generational buying opportunity, and that's when you start deploying even more cash. And I think I agree. I think there's going to be an opportunity if there is a pullback in NVIDIA, if there is a dip in NVIDIA, correction in NVIDIA. I think that's only going to lead to another very good buying opportunity, because NVIDIA has been able to unlock so many amazing markets, and essentially the addressable market here for NVIDIA has increased significantly for the company as well. So the post-split sell-off became a part of the generational opportunity for this company, which has changed the way in which people have consumed goods and services. Since the split, shares have gained an additional 80%, as they're talking about Amazon right now. And similar moves before and after splits have been seen for tech leaders like Tesla and Apple, though perhaps the best example is Microsoft, which had its first split in September 1987, a month before the famous crash. Microsoft shares were trading at a split-adjusted basis of 26 cents at the 1987 through trough versus the current levels of $423, and generational buying opportunity indeed. So let me know your thoughts, and what do you think? Is this going to be a generational buying opportunity for NVIDIA? And that's only contingent on this idea that it actually sells off, it drops after the split here, which it hasn't done yet because it was still trading pretty much at all-time highs. Now, switching gears to Apple here, this will be an AI-driven super cycle for Apple, says Wedbush Dan Ives, and these are some of the things that they launched here, which I'm going to go over. So, Apple's annual Worldwide Developers Conference keynote just wrapped up, and the company had a lot of news, the biggest of which was its push into artificial intelligence, of course, AI, called Apple Intelligence. And it is also announced that users can now tap into OpenAI's ChatGPT when using Siri, but only if a user wants to. So we got Apple Intelligence for Mac, iPhone, and iPad. So there's going to be AI capabilities for these products, these hardware products. OpenAI's ChatGPT is coming to Siri as well, but I think there's going to be some questions asked. So basically, Siri will tap into OpenAI's ChatGPT and will be free. Siri will ask you if you want to share your question with ChatGPT, and then will return the suggestions from OpenAI chatbot. And ChatGPT is also built into system-wide writing tools. So for example, Apple said you can create a bedtime story for a child and add images created by ChatGPT. It will be free without creating an account, and your request and information won't be locked, Apple said. And Sam Altman, of course, who ran OpenAI, said, very happy to be partnering with Apple to integrate ChatGPT into their devices later this year. Think you will really like it as well. And iOS 18 is another another update from the company. They're going to be launching a big Siri update with AI, updates for AirPods and tvOS for Apple TV, Watch operating system 11 for Apple Watch, iPad OS 18, Mac OS Sequoia, Vision OS 2, Apple Password app, and of course a custom emoji called Genmoji for Apple as well. So these are some of the updates from the recent WWDC 24 event for Apple. Now coming back over to the market, so starting with volatility. So VIX here continues to be at really low levels, so we are under 13. Again, a level that we have talked about is worth our attention, because the lower it gets down to, the more alert and the more cautious we need to be. That's just how it works. That's just how it is, because again, volatility drives the market because that negative correlation. So the VIX does spike, that's going to create a buying opportunity, and vice versa. If it continues to come down, it requires us to be more cautious, be more alert for the markets as well. Coming over to Bitcoin here, Bitcoin selling off a little bit more aggressively here. So back under 68,000. We've talked about the resistance here for Bitcoin in and around that $72,000 level. So that is a very important level of resistance. And right now we're coming back down to that support of 67,500 with a massive area of demand and support here at around $60,000 to $61,000 for Bitcoin as well. So that right there is going to be a level to keep in mind for BTC. For Ether, also selling off, starting to break down below the support of 36,700, and the next support really is going to be down at 33.34 for Ether, all the way down to 28,290 for Ether as well. Massive resistance here, sitting roughly at 4,100 for Ethereum. Money Best Index here sitting at 3.68, so again, very, very neutral. So we're not really seeing a lot of change in the Money Best Index. Of course, April 20th, as I pointed out before, was the more serious buying opportunity for us. Then the markets rallied really well. Then we saw a little bit of a pullback, then a recovery back up. So we're seeing, the Money Best Index kind of neutralize a little bit at 3.6, 3.7 levels, and 3, 2.4 to as much as 1.5, some of the best, most favorable risk reward opportunities to dollar cost average into the market. So until it gets down to that level, I'm going to be waiting patiently for the prices to come to us and have some cash and some dry powder sitting on the sidelines to take advantage of those deals. Coming over to the prices for crude oil, starting to see a bit of a bounce back higher. But in the month of May, crude prices were down. They were lower, so that's a good thing, because we're going to learn more about inflation data in about a couple of days here. June 12th, we're going to learn more about inflation and, of course, the Federal Reserve's expectations for interest rates. I will be posting a lot of videos and updates and live streams this week regarding that event. But this right here is going to be support for crude oil, sitting roughly at $71 to $73 a barrel for crude oil. Now coming over to S&P 500, so SPX is going to be the first thing, trading pretty much at all-time highs, 53.60. So again, week over week, we continue to see a lot of gains. Support levels getting validated, so that's good. And again, we're trading at pretty much near overbought, overextended levels. So I think it's really important for us to remain cautious, understand that the risk reward is not that favorable. I'm still invested. I'm still about 16, 18% cash, but that doesn't mean that I'm not cautious. I think it's really important for us to be alert. And if the volatility does spike, that's only going to create good and better opportunities for us to dollar cost average into. NASDAQ here also pushing up over 35 basis points, so just under 17,200 for the NASDAQ here. Very, very nice move to the upside. Support level is going to stay put at 17,000 over here. So that right there is going to be a level to keep in mind. And of course, we got a resistance, or pretty much the all-time high at 17,250 for the NASDAQ as well. Talking about Apple, and Apple here pulling back down almost 2%. RSI, MACD, L3 Banker Oscillator, we're all starting to see a little bit of a pullback for Apple here. And again, resistance stays put, and the area of supply in the 197, 199 areas that we have talked about in the past. Very, very important levels to keep in mind. And of course, support level down as much as 170 for Apple as well. So those right there are going to be some levels to keep in mind also for the company. And again, that's the most important area of support and demand for Apple. Talking about Amazon, and Amazon here pushing higher very nicely, up over 1.5%. So resistance and target is going to stay put at 188. So that is a double top resistance right now for Amazon that we'll keep a close eye on, and whether we get a breakout or not. But support level is going to stay put right over here for Amazon, sitting roughly at around 173, 174 for the company. Tesla here, on the other hand, continues to be very, very weak, very low volume. I mean, today was about 50 million, so really just nobody's trading Tesla right now, and it's just consolidating sideways a lot. We're just seeing sideways action. There's literally nothing happening in terms of price action for Tesla, with a massive area of supply and resistance here at 188 to as much as $209, and huge support here at 150 down to as low as 142 for Tesla as well. Talking a little bit about NVIDIA now. NVIDIA pretty much trading at near all-time highs, so 75 basis points. Of course, down to as low as 121 now after the split takes into account 10-for-1 stock split. So my entire analysis probably is going to get thrown out. I may have to do it again. But the bottom line is a massive, massive move, of course. And next support, more important level, is going to stay put right over here at $99 a share. just about sub 100. And we got a lot of gaps to also worry about for NVIDIA. Advanced Micro Devices is starting to break down once again. We're still, I would say, within reach of that support here at roughly around 159 to 160 for AMD. And if you do, of course, break down below this level, next support is going to be down as low as 150 to as much as 142 inside this green rectangle for AMD as well. Huge resistance and area of supply at 183, 184, and support level is going to stay put at 160 for Advanced Micro Devices. Talking about what is it, PayPal, and PayPal here down about 30 basis points, but PayPal is giving me some positive signs because we're starting to see some accumulation among the institutional funds, hedge funds, L3 banker oscillator with the yellow signal and the green bars following that up. It's possible that we do see a potential breakout above this area of supply and resistance at 68 to as much as $70. And that's when the next resistance and target is going to be on site at $77 a share. So that right there is going to be that next level to keep in mind if we are able to successfully break out above this area of resistance for PayPal. Talking about Visa, and Visa here obviously selling off down about 1.3%. Huge resistance at around 282. So this right here is going to be that level to keep in mind. And of course, a massive support at 266 for Visa. A lot of consolidation sideways for this company. And resistance all the way up to as much as 282. Of course, support level down as much as 266 for Visa as well. So those right there are going to be some levels to keep in mind for the company here, of course. Talking about Meta Platforms, and Meta here pushing higher, continues to rally up almost 2% back over $500. Huge resistance and area of supply and targets coming up at 515 to 531. And a massive support inside this green rectangle at 455 to 475 for Meta as well. Netflix here, on the other hand, a lot of consolidation sideways. Support level is going to stay put at 635, all the way down to as low as 596, close to $600 for Netflix, and a huge resistance all the way up to as much as 697 to close to $700 for Netflix. So massive support down at 636, down at 596. A lot of consolidation right now for this company. Google, on the other hand, here consolidating sideways as well, so not a lot of momentum. And support level is going to stay put at 173. So this right here, massive support, huge resistance right now, sitting roughly at around 179, close to $180 a share for Google. And right now we're just seeing a lot of consolidation for this company as well. And finally, we come over to Microsoft, and Microsoft here continues to move higher. Resistance coming up at 430, so that's going to be the level to keep in mind. Support level at 417 for Microsoft, all the way down to as low as 394s, kind of aligned with that green rectangle for this company as well. And finally, we come over to Enphase with a very nice day, up over 6.5%. We've got a double top resistance at 138. It needs to break out over 138 in order for us to see higher highs for Enphase. And right now, that is a huge area of resistance. 151 is going to be that next target beyond 138. Support level and this huge area of support, a green rectangle sitting roughly at 106, 107 for Enphase as well. And then finally, we come over to Costco. And Costco here non-stop, just hitting new all-time highs day after day, up another 33 basis points. Very, very overbought at the moment with the RSI and the MACD. So got to be super careful because it's not a question of if, it's a question of when it's going to pull back and correct itself. So hope you all enjoyed this video and a complete update on the markets. Next couple days are going to be very, very important here, because we got a lot of stuff coming out. Make sure that you do check out the links down below if you want to join, of course, be a part of our MoneyVest community, and of course, lock in that pricing, 51% discounted pricing for life, and you will never have to worry about it again. And all the additional features and tools will be added for free for you. So link's going to be down below. You can access this entire platform when it does launch. And again, we'll love to have you on board and get your feedback so we can build something super amazing. So link's going to be down below. As always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.